Welcome back to Livie'S Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel, and I'm your host, Fam the Fabulous. For more ideas, inspiration, swaps, and challenges, click the link in the description below to join our craft community, The Maker Exchange, on Facebook. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, all my artists, creatives, crafters, and makers. Welcome back to the Lovely Lab. In this week's segment of Leftovers from the Lovely Lab, we are going to be using up more scraps from this bin, which consists of just items from leftover from the most recent projects, the last 3 projects. And so I've got like paper, cardstock, Christmas stuff, fall stuff, ephemera, die cuts, snippets of lace, just a bunch of leftover random stuff here. And, well, a couple things that I just haven't put away. But my plan is just to try and reduce this without actually throwing anything away. So that is what we're going to do. Now, I looked through this yesterday, and I pulled out some items that I wanted to work with to create some journal cards with. So let's see. These are the larger papers that I have. That's the leftover from a greeting card. And I'm going to use that I'm going to use it because I can, right? Now, because this is already cardstock, my thoughts always are use up the thinner paper first. Because some paper is thicker than other papers, right? So like this is thinner paper, so I could layer that on top of there. This is a cardstock, so I can use cardstock with cardstock, and that'll for the most part, especially with glue on the inside, give you a decent stiff journal card. But so when you have scrap cardstock, you can just layer like that on there, and then there you have it. I don't necessarily want to use that, but if that's all I got, then that's what I'm gonna do. I also have this. That's awfully shiny. That'll have to be used in scrappy bits. Okay, so let me get started here. What do I want to do? Oh, I also have this. So actually, I can use this because this is not cardstock. I can use that. And yep, that's big enough. On the opposite side of that, I will just use some leftover. Probably should have adjusted that first. Yeah, let me just put a light coating of gesso on top of that so it's not see-through. Or I could use this, but I think this will go better. So let me just grab some gesso. I'm going to gesso this right quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's dry. Now I'm going to take this Finger Hut catalog that seems to be sent to this house for whoever, the previous owner or whatever. I'm just using this to protect my surface, but I'm just going to use a glue stick and lay down some glue on here. It doesn't even have to be this serious because I'm going to end up sewing over it. So okay, that's real cute, real fancy. Okay, I'm just gonna lay that down there. Where's my glue card? And I'm going to do the same to the opposite side. Let that dry. And then move on to the next one. And right now I just want to build. I'm not going to do any embellishing. Because what I have come to understand, like I may decorate 1 or 2 or something like that. But when you're making journal cards, you can turn those into You can keep them as journal cards. You can turn them into journaling tags. You can also turn them into card fronts. You know, you pop them on top of one of those pre-made card bases, and you've got yourself a ready-made, basically a ready-made card minus the sentiment. You can always find one of those to put on there. So, why do I feel like this is so cumbersome? Because it's not near me. You know what? I probably should have cut that off first, but nevertheless, let me make sure I'm in view. And I'm just using the Elmer's disappearing glue. It stays. I mean, it'll hold. Definitely will hold. Where and how it needs to. Okay, so I'm just going to cut off the excess if I can remember where it's at now at this point. And I can feel from there. Okay, I hope everyone is having a good week. I'm going to have to cut that down some more. Yeah. I hope everyone is having a good week, that you have taken time out to get some rest. I find that when I set aside time to rest and I'm just sitting thinking, I come up with some of the most fun projects with things that I enjoy doing, or should I say get the most gratification from. So I'm just cutting off the excess from this because I'll be using the rest of this on something. Yeah, I find that they become the most gratifying projects, ones that I, especially if I'm not overthinking it, you know, if I'm just kind of going with the flow. And then other projects, yeah. So I'm going to use this one as a journaling tag. So now I want to find something like, I don't know if that's not wide enough. What else do I have that might accommodate that? And I think I'm going to cut that off. Not quite wide enough, but I could collage on the front. That's what I might do. Yeah. So let me go ahead and cut the top of that off. I could leave that, but I don't want to because I don't want to have to deal with that. But yeah, so hope you guys are getting rest. You're planning rest into your days, and you are allowing yourself time to reflect, gather some inspiration, and so that when you have time to get into the craft space, you can concentrate on that and walk away feeling a sense of accomplishment. You know what I mean? Okay, so I want to use this, and I'm trying to think, what do I want to use it with? Do I want to use it with that? Will that cover up enough? But how about this and this? That's not long enough, but I could go something like that. So that might work. Okay. I might do that. Do I want to do it less busy? Actually, I could do that. I could. Wrong direction. I could do this. Let's see. Now here's the point where we begin to overthink. And by we, I mean me. Okay. All right, so this is a little shiny, and I'm praying that this will hold, but I think I'm probably going to stitch the front of this down before I put the back on. So yeah, that's what I'll do for this one. I'm going to stitch it down, and then I'll put the back on, and what that will allow me to do is put extra stitching on here. I'm going to have to cut this down a little bit. It's not a problem though. I might not. No, I won't have to cut it down. Yeah, so when I stitch the top part, it'll allow me to make sure that the top is down. And then I'll put the back on and cover up some of the stitching. Okay, where do I want to go from here? Let me do a strip of, this isn't even long enough. All right, girl. Think it through. Think it through. I could do that. I could do that, and then I could do... All right, let me move some of this out of the way so I can get my cutter out. Paper cutter, that is. Oh my gosh. I am not violent. Don't even put that on me, girls. All right. I don't want any of that red, that blue, so... There we go. That'll be fine like that. And then I'll put, yeah, that's gonna, because this is too short too. So that'll work. Let's cut off a piece of that. So anyways, moving right along while I'm cutting this and trying not to over concentrate, if that's even a word. What is everybody working on at this point in time? I know, you know, some of you guys are working on fall projects. Bless your sweethearts. I'm not. I'm done with that for now. Just for the moment. I'll be moving back over to that as I use up some of the scraps. But I probably will put together some Thanksgiving cards to put in the mail, especially because it's a little bit of, not crisis, but, you know, death in the family and, yeah. Let me trim that. I would trim that too short, wouldn't I? Gracious. Well, that'll work. All right. Once I complete this week's leftovers from the lab, I'm going to go ahead and start on the Sister Friend Journal that I have been talking about. I'm excited to start that because, my goodness, I have so much happy mail to put in that thing. Into my Sister Friend Journal. And I want to get on that before I get full swing into Christmas stuff. So I know that there are some creatives that I think they call theirs correspondence journals, where they kind of just put in there things that they have gotten from other creatives in their community. Oh, that's gotta come up. So, but mine is a Sister Friend Journal because I consider most of my creative friends, you know, like family. We either correspond with one another on a daily, on a regular, or we are so similar in personality and or creative style that they feel like family. So, sister friends, you know. I actually have a sister cousin, believe it or not, who I share more DNA with than I actually do with my biological sister that came from my mother, because our fathers are brothers and our mothers are sisters. So we actually look a lot alike. We don't act a lot alike, but we do look a lot alike. Where's the other card? Did I just throw that out of the way? Okay, and then I have no idea where I put it. Oh, wait, is this it? No. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'll come across it at some point. But in the meantime, I have some journal cards, some cards that I gessoed that I want to go ahead and, here it is, that I want to go ahead and use up some of these scraps for. So these are the ones that let me turn this page. These are the ones that I am holding on to. These are old index cards from Josh's days of kindergarten. Yeah, so these are, I'll move this out of the way, slide that out the way, right there, give myself a little more space and over here. Will you guys see it? Let me just, there we go. All right, so, yeah. And I just gessoed them. Now, sometimes I will, I'm just going to use this because it's pretty. So I held on to his index cards. I don't have any other use for him. I mean, Grant, he's in 5th grade at this point, so he will never need them again. Okay? But I could use them for journaling cards, smaller tags, things of that nature. So that is what I'm going to do. That's one side. I'm going to let that dry for a second before I put the second side down. Let me grab another card and get some cardstock. Yeah, that'll go that way. And I'm just doing my best to get rid of the larger pieces. And then after I get finished with the larger pieces, whatever I have left, I'll use to make clusters with in the next installment, episode, whatever you want to call it. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. And in this way, I get to use up scraps, even down to the smaller pieces. Once I get finished with the clusters, whatever is left is going in the garbage. Because I refuse to continue housing those smaller pieces until, you know, they can't be used, until they're so tiny. Now, there are small pieces that I will keep, like things that have foiling on them, you know, and it's really pretty and shiny, or maybe bright colored. But, you know, little pieces like, after I'm done with the clusters, if I have this left, I'm just going to get rid of it because I can't. I cannot, people. And that glue did not hold there. Prayerfully, it holds in the other areas. It might be the gesso. I might have to end up pulling out the real glue. The real glue. Might be a little easier this way. And it is. I might as well lay another one down. So once I get the bulk of these put down, you know, laid down, and the backs put on, I probably will come back on. Here we got a third one. Might as well use that one as well. It'll fit. I'll come back on and show you one if I have time, because I'm getting ready to, Josh is getting ready to go into Spanish class. But if I have time, I'll come back on and show you. If I have time, I will embellish one, which I don't think I'll have time to do. If I do, it'll be without sound to music while he is in class. But anyways, I'll decorate one. Oh, excuse me, sorry guys. I'll decorate one, but I want to leave the rest of them unfinished. And then another thing I meant to say is that sometimes you pick up other pieces of ephemera and, you know, things like that later on in the season. So you may want to embellish with the newer stuff. So, and me personally, I don't have a lot of Christmas ephemera. I have paper. I have a little few pieces of washi, you know, like that. But I don't have a lot of die cuts, and I don't even have a lot of stamps for the Christmas season. So, and I'm not in a big hurry to buy either of the two. Not that it's, you know, it's a large season, but I mean a long season, but it isn't my favorite one to create for. I do enjoy creating for the fall season. So there's that. That's Josh back there. Like, that's a little piece I'll keep right for now. Let me just burnish that once more. Make sure that glue sets. Do it for the other one as well. So, there is a swap going on over in the Maker Exchange. The event has started, and let's see, is that wide enough for that? No. Is this long enough for that? It is. So I will use that. Let me see, what else do I have here? So I'm going to stop with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of these, and then I'm going to have to back them with something. But yeah, so, see, do I want to, no, I don't want to do that. But I could do, I'm not collaging. No, I'm keeping it simple. So again, swap going on. Napkin swap is going on over in the Maker Exchange. The event has been posted. If you are not a member of that Facebook group, there is a link below that you can click if you would like to join, 1, the group, and then 2, the swap. You will need to answer the questions in the in order to join. We do like to vet our members. It's such an exclusive group, right? No, it's just to ensure that we don't have any scammers, spammers, trollers, and all that other stuff. You know how it is today. Ain't nobody got time for all of that. But once you get past the guards, then you can hop on into the festivities. And so the napkin swap, I believe it is 8 napkins. You can do it in combinations of no more than 2 of any napkin. So you can do it 4 sets of 2. You can do 2 sets of 2 and 4 singles, or you can do all 8 singles. You can do holiday, you can do themed, whatever. That's totally up to you. And I will partner up the participants a couple days before the actual swap starts. So right now is sign up, and then from the 10th to the 20th is when you send out your napkins to your swap partner. Okay, so look for the link down in the description box if you want to join. All right, so with that, we're going to no, let me put that away. Let me go ahead and back majority of these with this green. Do I have anything else? I have coffee dyed, so I'm going to use coffee dyed on this one. That work? It's going to work today. It's going to work today. I'm going to use that in a strip. Waste not, want not, folks. That's what we do. That's what the whole purpose of the leftovers is. Using up what you got to make something else that you can use somewhere else. Yeah, so that's actually going to be the last swap of the year until 2021, and we'll start swaps back up every other month, starting in the month of January. But I do not want to be competing with people's craft time with swaps. I want everybody to be free to create and make gifts for their friends and family during the holiday season. So I will not be posting the swap for November or December. Okay. Will that work? Ooh, it'll just barely fit. Thank God for small miracles, as my mama would say. Okay. See, those scraps come in handy. That one just happened to be one that I used today. I typically would have just threw that out. Okay. So that's one that has both sides done. Let's see, we got this one. I'm going to have to use this for clusters. The majority will have this as its backing. But by the time it's all said and done, none of them will look the same because I'll stamp them, stencil, possibly decoupage because I have napkins. Bring that on up to the top. Not good enough. Yeah, so I'll stencil, distress, sprays, might even do a little bit of mixed media on them, who knows. But the important thing is to try and get some of this leftover paper off my desk and use it up best I can, so that and possibly, and then one thing I realized is that sometimes what you'll find is that when you're using these up, you often, just by how things come together, sometimes it inspires a different creation. So that'll be pretty like that. Let me cut the edges of that off. Sometimes it'll inspire a new creation. Like you might see a greeting card in there, or you might come across a piece of ephemera that you already have and think, that might look good on there. And then they have a whole new look. So sometimes it's good to sit down and decorate them all at one time, or sometimes it's just good to have your stash built, and then that way you can go to it whenever you feel inspired to do something with it. If that makes sense. Does that make sense, folks? But the biggest part is just getting the stash built. And I am bringing y'all along on that part of the process. Like I have nothing else to do. It's quite all right, folks. It's quite all right. Okay, I think on the back of here, I can't use that. I'm going to have to use... do I want to do this? I can use this, and I have to use... I'm going to use the rest of the coffee dye for this, and then I'll run a strip on it. But on here, on the back here, I'll just use this one. And that'll be it. The rest will be used for... Oh, that's cute. The rest will be used for the clusters. Yeah, the clusters. Yeah. Okay. So we got... That's Josh in the background, guys. Excuse him. He is just enjoying his lunch break and with his friends over Discord, the gaming chat space for kids and adults. I actually signed up for a Discord account because Felicia is on there, and so she was, in the chat, in our group chat. She's like, go ahead and sign up for one so we can hang out in there too. And I'm like, isn't that where the kids is? I know my son has one, and I check his chats from time to time. Yes, because he should have in my opinion, that is just my parenting. He should have no expectation of privacy. He bought that computer. He's a kid. He's under the age of 12. He's under any age of consent for anything. Okay? So, yes, mom checks everything. And he needs to know that. Anyways, moving along. And so, anyways, I signed up for Discord. But so Josh, as soon as I signed up, my laptop is across from his. We're all in the same space. So he's sitting at his desk, and I think he's in class. And he hears the notification that like you got to chat or something. I don't even know what the notifications sound like, but apparently he does. So he looks back at me to see what's going on my computer, and he was like, so he gets up from his desk and he comes over and he was like, "What is you doing?" He's like, "What is you doing?" I said, "I'm on Discord." He was like, "What?" He said, "I didn't know you was on there." I said, "No, I just signed up." He was like, "Oh." He did not sound too enthused. I said, "Adults can be on here too." He was like, "I know. I just didn't know you wanted to be on there." Oh, no offense taken, sir. I'm like, dude, I don't have to be signed up on here for me to monitor what you're doing. I'm going to do that regardless. Okay? I guess he didn't want me in the hangout space. Like, how dare you utilize these resources that are meant for the children, for yourself? Yes, dear, I did. I certainly did. Okay, I'm going to use... No, I'm actually going to use this one because it has dark green at the bottom. Perfect. I mean, no one needs to be that matchy, but for the sake of keeping it consistent, why not? Bear with me, folks, as I cut this little piece of paper. And then I'm going to pause for a moment to ensure that my child is getting in here and on time for class. Okay? So that's what I gotta do. Aren't you glad you're not me? Crafting with a clock in your face all the time. I know I'm not the only one. Okay. We got one more, and I think that ought to do it. Oh, I gotta slide that down some. I don't want to handle that too much because my hands are really gluey right now. Really gluey. Okay, so here's the last one, and I don't even remember what I said I was going to put on. Oh, I said I was going to put this on here. All right, it would help if I didn't have all this stuff up here. Can y'all send one of your house, your cleaners, a teenager, or something like that to assist me with just keeping life together here on this ranch. Yeah. Okay. So again, I'm going to finish up here just gluing. As you know, I just was gluing today. Just gluing and cutting and running my mouth. That's what I do very well. I do it very well. Ask my husband. He'll let you know. It's one of the better things that I do. All right. So, got that. And cut that out. And then I'm going to assess what scraps I have left. What needs to be discarded. It's too small for clusters. And I might even do a collage with whatever's left. Like if I have some pieces that are big enough, because there are some pieces that are big enough, I might do a collage sheet and just cut that up. Now, I've heard of people doing master boards. Drop in the comments and let me know. Is that something that you're familiar with? Is that something that you've tried out? Or is that not like clusters? Is that not the same as just collaging on a big sheet? Is there any reason why we call it that? And I'm not being facetious or shady. I'm just asking, like, I guess I gotta do a little homework for myself and figure out what exactly a master board is. And if it's something that's worth me spending time to do. You know, sometimes we call a thing, and it's nothing more than something we did before. So, you know, as time goes on, there's nothing new under the sun. You're bound to repeat some of the same creative techniques. So, that being said, I'm going to check and see if the master boards is something that I've done before, if it's something that's worth me taking a look at. And then, who knows, might be one of the latter things that we do here on the channel. Now, as you can see, as I'm organizing the scraps, now no one needs to be this anal, okay? But I do it because I bag up mine. Some of them go into a little package, and some of them go into a large one, and it just helps me be able to pull and use quickly, as opposed to going through a box with big old scraps in it. Like, this is good for collaging. This would be good for clusters. Okay, so these are the ones that we created. This one I have to, and I still got to find something. I'll probably find some coffee dyed paper, or maybe even a very thin pattern paper, but nevertheless, I've got to sew the top of it, sure that everything sits right. And then I'll put the journaling spot down here on the back. Okay, so we got that one. We've got these, the index cards. We've got this larger card created. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 bases. We can use these on cards, journaling tags. I can even cut this in half and make note cards, 3x3 note cards. That could be the base for a note card. So we've got that, and I'm going to come back in just a minute and show you one of the things that I do with them, all right? Okay, so the object of this session was to create some bases that we could use for future crafting, and that is what we accomplished. Now, I remember I had stated you could use these for card bases. So this is the size of a typical card that I get from the Dollar General, right? So I could take something like this, pop this on here. If I've created the clusters, I could put a cluster on here, a sentiment, and I've got a Christmas card ready to go, okay? And, you know, distress the edges, maybe do a little sewing, stitching, whatever. But you've pretty much got a base already ready to go. You also have a journaling card, journaling tag. Now, this is the journaling tag that I created. The only thing I did was use the smaller bits to create a cluster, backed it with some of that metallic netting that I absolutely love. This sentiment comes from a magazine article that I cut out from last year, and then I stitched a little tab up at the top using some scrap fabric. And at the bottom down here, you'll see May Your Hearts Be Joyous, which is a Tim Holtz Christmas Noel clipping sticker. And so this is a larger size tag, but I think it's awfully cute. Let's see, how big is that? This is made using it's a almost 7.5 inches, 7.25 inches by 4.25, and that's from one of the packaging from the stickers, like this here, something like that. So I saved those, and they make great scraps that you can use for your own creating. So anyways, guys, on the next video, I'm going to use up the remaining scraps well, I'll probably do 2. The remaining scraps I will use to create some clusters. I also think that I'm going to try a masterboard or collage, one of the two. But those are the last 2 that I'll be doing with this Christmas stuff. And after I get finished with those 2, I'm chucking whatever I've got left, because I don't want to touch it again, okay? Aside from like the little pearls and stuff like that. But so I think I have enough to do that. And then we will be moving on to our Sister Friend Journal, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Now, if you are new to the channel and you enjoyed this little bit of inspiration, I do appreciate you going ahead and hitting that thumbs up button. And if you want to be a part of this creative community, go ahead and hit subscribe. along with that notification bell so you will not miss any of the crafty uploads. And believe me, I'm not big on the Christmas season, but I've got a few things on my agenda, so you want to stay tuned for that and you don't want to miss a thing. And for those who are returning subscribers and are already a part of the creative community here in the Lovely Lab, I just want to thank you for being a part of my family and for providing feedback, inspiration, motivation, and encouragement for me to continue on. You make it possible, and I thank you. Now, until we're back here together on YouTube, guys, I want y'all to stay encouraged, stay blessed, stay creative, and crafting. Don't forget to pull out those scraps. Bye for now.
If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe to join the crafty community and be sure to click the bell for notifications of new uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Now stay tuned for more from Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel. Bye for now.